There's a sentence I used to say at least 5 times a day that was quietly costing me my life. It's only 2 words long, and until I caught myself saying it, I had no idea I'd been lying about everything that mattered for over a year. So I ran a 30-day experiment. For 30 days, I stopped letting myself off the hook. What changed isn't what I expected. I'm Heidi. A few years ago, I caught myself saying, "I'm fine," to a friend who I trusted enough to know better. The words came out, and the moment they did, I knew they weren't true. I'd been saying the same thing to myself for months, maybe longer, and it hadn't fixed a single thing it was supposed to fix. So I started something small. For 30 days, every time I caught myself reaching for a comfortable lie about my own life, I'd stop and write the truer thing down instead. Just a sentence. Sometimes just a word. This is the first step of something I call the restart method, the practice of telling yourself the truth. It sounds simple. It is not. It's the step most people skip, and it's the reason most personal growth advice doesn't stick. You cannot move forward until you know where you actually are. If you saw my last video on the 5 stages of becoming, you'll remember the first domain, the Ember Highlands. Discipline, building the will. The Highlands has a rule. The first oath you make to yourself has to be true, or every oath that follows is built on sand. Here are the 7 lies I caught myself in. See how many you recognize. The first one was the one I started with. I'm fine. This is the most common lie any of us tell. It's the social airbag. It lets us keep moving without having to feel anything. But fine is not a feeling. It's a wall. The truer version is always one specific word. Tired, sad, overwhelmed, lonely, resentful, scared. Pick the actual one. Just say it to yourself once a day for a week and watch what happens. The second one was, I'll start tomorrow. We don't say this because we're lazy. We say it because starting today means facing the possibility that we might fail. Or worse, that someone might see us failing. The truer version names the fear directly. I'm avoiding this because I'm scared of the specific thing. Once you say the fear out loud, the avoidance loses most of its weight. The third one was sneaky. I'm just tired. Sometimes we are just tired. Often we are not. Often we are sad or grieving or burnt down to the wick, and tired is the word we use because tired is easier to admit than the others. When I caught myself saying it, I'd ask, tired how? Tired in my body, tired in my heart, tired of pretending. The answer was almost never just sleep. The fourth one was, I don't really care what they think. This one I told myself constantly. It made me feel independent and unbothered. The truth was, I cared so much, I'd built a small fortress around the caring to make sure no one saw it. The truer version, I do care. And what I'm worried about specifically is... Then fill in the rest. You'll be surprised how specific and how small the worry usually is once you let it stand in the light. The fifth one was, it doesn't matter to me. We say this when admitting something matters would cost us. Cost us our pride, cost us a relationship, cost us the version of ourselves we'd rather be. The truer version, it does matter, and the reason I want to pretend it doesn't is, most of the time, the reason is that wanting the thing makes us vulnerable. That vulnerability is the doorway, not the obstacle. The sixth one was the hardest. I chose this. I'd say it about jobs I'd outgrown, about relationships that had quietly stopped working, about commitments I'd made years ago to a version of myself who didn't exist anymore. I chose this is the sentence we use to make staying feel like agency instead of inertia. The truer version is more honest. I'm staying because, and then the real reason. Usually it's fear, or comfort, or the cost of admitting we've changed. Both can be valid, but you can't make a real choice about whether to stay until you tell yourself why you're staying. The seventh one was the one I had to catch most often. I should be grateful. This is the lie that uses goodness against you. Yes, there are things in your life worth being grateful for. And you can be tired, or sad, or longing for something more. Gratitude doesn't cancel grief or hunger or wanting. The truer version doesn't replace gratitude. It adds to it. I am grateful, and I am the actual feeling. Both are true at the same time. Honesty makes room for both. Now here's what surprised me. I expected to feel worse. I thought writing down the truer thing every day would just collect a small pile of difficult feelings in my journal and weigh me down. The opposite happened. Brené Brown's research on shame and vulnerability has shown that what most of us are doing when we lie to ourselves isn't avoidance. It's a kind of low-grade self-abandonment. The more comfortable lies we tell, the further we drift from ourselves. The fix isn't fixing yourself. The fix is being witnessed by yourself. That's what the experiment turned out to be. Not a confession, not a fix-it list. A daily act of being witnessed by myself. By the end of the 30 days, the loudest thing wasn't the difficult feelings. It was a quiet relief. Like coming home to a house I'd been avoiding for years. The decisions I'd been stalling on suddenly had clearer shapes. The conversations I'd been avoiding became possible to have. Not easy, just possible. And the surprise inside the surprise was this. I didn't feel exposed. I felt steady. Telling yourself the truth doesn't make you more fragile. It makes you harder to knock over. So if you want to try this, you don't need 30 days. Start with 1. Tonight, pick up paper or open your journal. Write down one sentence you've been saying to yourself that you suspect isn't true. Underneath it, write the truer thing. One word, one sentence, whatever it is. Then close the book. That's it. That's step 1. If this resonated, subscribe so we can keep walking through the rest of the method together. I aim for 2 videos a week. My last video walked through the 5 stages of becoming, the realm map of where you are right now. It pairs well with this one because you can't tell yourself the truth about where you're going until you know where you are. Click the video at the top of your screen. And if you want the longer version of this work, a free 6-step practice for the days the wheels come off, I've written it down as a guide called the Restart Method. Telling the truth is step 1. Links in the description below. Until then, seekers, walk gently, be kind, and remember, you are already enough. The best self you seek is already inside you.